So you found yourself without a job, or you've been laid off from your current company, and you're very stressed out about what to do next. I've had this experience previously in the past, so I figured I'd put together a little video to hopefully help you get through this period, this shit that you find yourself in. So the first thing I want you to do is to take a very deep breath. I'm not going to pretend to understand what you're going through right now. Each situation is very different. I was laid off in 2008, 2009 during that whole economic crash and found myself without a job, a state away from, family and friends. And it's extremely stressful. When I was laid off before, I actually worked with my coworkers. So I had to move out of my house that I was staying at while also searching for a job in a frantic fashion. So the first thing I want you to do is nothing. I think it's important to just take some time and let ourselves fully be immersed into this new reality. So if you find yourself laid off or fired, if you find yourself without employment, no matter how you get there, there's really nothing you can do that'll be productive in the first few days. Your mind is going to be floating and circulating with all these thoughts, all these random negative emotions, being like, did I do something wrong? Is it my fault? Am I not worthy? You're going to be thinking about all these things, and none of that is true. You're still valuable in the industry. You're still a valuable human being. And just because some objectives of the company no longer align with you working there, it doesn't mean that, you're less of a person. So the first few days, I just want you to kind of feel that emotion and live there. It's kind of important to take stock of the current situation. I don't know. The first few days are going to be really bad, and your mind's just going to be floating with all these thoughts about you being unworthy, or, the company doesn't need me anymore, or I'm not valuable in the industry. All these thoughts are going to be kind of floating in your head, and you're just going to be thinking negatively about everything for the first few days. And that's natural. That's like something that you should just let run its course. You shouldn't force yourself out of that mentality right away. Just because it's good to kind of sit with your emotions and grief and just kind of help you process what's going on. And if you try to rush things too quickly, or if you try to, immediately go out and go to an interview, you could actually hurt yourself more, because you're not in a good mental state to showcase how amazing you really are. So for the first few days, like this right here, if that's how you process things, is okay. Sitting here watching TV, doing nothing, that's perfectly acceptable. So take a few days, relax, clear your head. One good thing is you don't have to work on those projects that have been pressing you anymore, because they're not your issue. If your job does call you back, which has happened to me before, and they want you to work on something, you know, just to get them by because they didn't consider all the elements before you left, just laugh. Work problems are no longer your problems. So that's a good thing. So I'm hoping to make a little video here. It's not going to be fancy, filled with all these cool cuts and transitions. I just want to hopefully help with the mental thing that you might be going through. So let's call it day 1 through 3 is just this. It's just relaxing on the couch or working out or going out with friends or whatever your process is. Like, let's start with that. Let's just do that for the first few days. I guess that's not too bad. This is actually kind of fun, and I got these new lights, and I've been playing around with them a little bit, and I have 2 set up on either side of me, and Eddie is protecting the house. Hi, buddy. He is the cutest. Oh, thank you. Oh, what? What? Do you you know, I've sat down to record this. Actually, that's not true. I haven't sat down to record this in weeks. I filmed that first part of the video about a month ago. Maybe not that long. Maybe like 3 weeks ago. And I just haven't really been in the right like mental space to continue the video. Just because I didn't want it to be, I like watched the recording back and I realized how like doom and gloom it sounded, and I didn't want the whole video to be that. So instead, I took a break. I took a page from like what I wanted for the video itself, and I took a little space for myself and just relaxed for a couple of weeks. So I actually picked up a few of these lights, and I've been playing around, and now we have this like little campfire scene that we can continue this video with all good vibes. So let's focus on the turnaround. Over the next, after you've gone through the couple of days of like self-reflection, recovery, whatever you have to do, vegging out, watching Netflix all the time, the next few steps I would call almost upkeep. So that's, you know, making sure you're taking your showers, making sure you're getting proper nutrition, making sure you're doing all of the healthy habits that you can in order to keep yourself in a good spot when you go for that job search or that job hunt or that next chapter of what you're trying to do. What I would do also is review the severance package, the buyout materials, anything that your past employer has given you. There might be some paperwork you have to sign. There might be some clauses in there that you should review and read. So definitely make sure that you're staying up to that. You know, like what your package is going to be when you leave. If you are entitled to one, know what the lead time is so that you can set your next hire date for a day after that lead time expires, if you wish. There's a lot of nuances within that paperwork that you should review. I'm kind of digging this fireplace. I don't know how it's going to come across on camera yet, but I like the vibe. Right off the bat, if your state and situation does allow for it, I would apply for unemployment. Previously, when I lost my job, that was the first thing I did, was go down. I was in North Carolina, just registered for unemployment, and I think I got a job 3 weeks later, and I didn't have any savings. So, key life hack: make sure you have, you know, at least 3 to 6 months worth of savings. If you don't, that just makes it extremely stressful when your source of income drops. That's why I hate having one source of income. I'm trying to adjust that way later now in life than I probably should have. Yeah, when your primary source of income drops and goes away, it can be extremely stressful if you don't have anything to back up on or anything to, you know, fall back on. a lot of people say you could just move in with your parents. It's not always the option. That's not the option with me. So I'm definitely putting a higher priority on stacking some cash away for a rainy day fund. Eddie's gonna be a madman this entire video. He started, like, I started recording and he got all the energy. So you're just gonna see him bouncing in here. Apparently it's playtime. So I'd review your budgets. 3 to 6 months is a good rule of thumb to start out with, just having some cash on hand. That way, if your employment does get interrupted, you're not on like such a tight timeline that you have a bill due within the following week. You have a little bit of a buffer. That number is different for everybody. Just whatever number you're going to be comfortable with, have that on hand. I'm at about, I believe, 5 to 6 months right now. I might beef it out a little bit more just because I'm an insane person who likes to save. I actually hate saving. I don't know why I said that. I don't like saving, but I know it is needed, and if I ever did need that cash, it would be there. Do you need to cut any spending? You know, are you an Amazonaholic like I am? Do you have to cut out the expensive toys for a while? Do you have to cut subscription services? This is a good time to just, early on in the process, just review everything. Do you personally have to make any changes to make sure you're good? You've done the few days of mental health relief. You've taken some time for the upkeep, making sure that you're able to progress forward with the plan. The next phase, I guess you could say, like after, I don't know, timelines don't matter. It's all up to what you want to do. But I would take some time before you start your job search, before you get out there, before you do some interviews. I would reflect on what it is do you want now from your career. Has anything changed? Have you been an engineer for 20 years and now you're looking into like leadership or management or sales or another role? Are you looking to get out of engineering? Are you looking to go into programming? Are you looking to... I would take a moment and I would reflect on like what is your goals for your next job search. I would also update your resume. Once you've taken the time, once you've reflected, once you thought about like what are you good at, what do you want to continue doing, update your resume to reflect the job that you want. That is a key indicator. If you've been doing something for the last 5 years and you don't want to do that thing anymore, don't highlight those items on your resume. A good example, let's say you're an engineer who also has been doing project management or has been doing compliance or has been doing these other ancillary things outside of your like main job category, and you no longer want to do those things. Or conversely, you want to continue to do those things and you want to suppress a little bit of your like hardcore engineering. Update your resume to reflect that. Highlight the roles and the responsibilities and the positions that you want to then go into and do. Don't list out, all the compliances in the world that you helped champion if that's not what you want to do in your next role. Also, during this period, it's a great time to hit up your networks. Go on LinkedIn. That's what we all use it for, right? and just reach out to people saying, hey, I am available to hire. I am available for work. When a layoff announcement comes, I've been very surprised and very pleased at the amount of positivity that is just going on in the LinkedIn community with, job leads and people hitting up, like recruiters reaching out, hiring managers, suggesting areas and locations. And it's been kind of cool to see. Okay, so we've done our little mental health break. We've done our upkeep, making sure that we're able to continue this process. We've done a reflection period, and now we can start the search. Dun, 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 dun. Well, the search is the search. The search sucks. The search is not great, but it is now your new job. Your new job is to find a job. So wake up, take a shower, get your coffee, do your morning routine, making sure that you're all set, and then sit down at your computer, at your workstation, wherever you're at home, and begin your search. I would set like a daily or a weekly goal that you're trying to hit. So, search and look for 3 jobs today.
hit the apply button to one of those jobs, or just short, small, obtainable goals in the beginning will help you just with all of that. I'm in order. You know what's actually going on? It's like 9:15 at night. I've tried to record this video 1,000 times. I decided to break out these lights and play with them, and now I am just like, my brain is fried. But I have a goal today. See, this is small obtainable goals. I have a goal today to finish the recording of this video so that I can edit it, hopefully get it out this week. I would also say, recruiters, I have a love-hate relationship with them. Some recruiters have been very helpful in getting me in the door to locations and getting me, my desired jobs. Others, not so much. But one thing that I remember that helped me with that whole relationship with the recruiter is that, they're not you. They're not worried about your career as much as you would be worried about your career. So if you get a recruiter, and some companies won't hire outside of a recruiter, so it's kind of like the way that you have to go. But make sure you get a good one. You can tell the ones that are typically good and the ones that are typically bad. If you ever get like a form letter or a canned thing, just delete it and move on. But there are some good recruiters that can get you really connections within certain companies, and there's also internal recruiters for companies that will find a position within like the larger organizations typically, but they'll find a position that's open and available within like where your skill set is. So they can be good. I would just be cautious about putting all of your eggs in that basket. Don't outsource your job search to a recruiter and then wash your hands away and say, okay, I've contacted a recruiter, they're going to find me a job. Just do it yourself. Make it your job to find a job. And lastly, I would say just be nice throughout the whole process. It's a very stressful time for you. It's a time where your emotions can get the better of you, and you can just kind of react in odd ways. Stress has that effect. I would just remind myself to keep a positive attitude, follow up, make sure that you do all of the things that everyone tells you in order to actually effectively search for a job. It's very stressful to not have a source of income, and just be cautious about what you're doing and how you're like portraying those emotions out to others, even your close family, your friends. Just be aware. You might not be able to help it, but just be aware of what's going on. Basically, that's it. I hope it helped. One thing to keep in mind is that just because an organization doesn't necessarily need your particular skill sets, or they don't have the budget, or there's 1,000 reasons why a company would lay you off, basically. And just keep a positive attitude in mind. Just because that one company doesn't need you, or doesn't see your value, doesn't see your worth, however you want to phrase it, that doesn't mean that like you're not valuable. Your skills aren't in demand. It's just not at that one particular location. So I know you'll get through it. It's not fun, but if you have any tips, if you've been laid off, if you have a story to share, just drop them in the comments below. Help everyone out that we can. And I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next one.
Make sure you shower. Make sure you shower.